So the proverb says, until lions learn to write, all stories will glorify the hunter. 20 years ago, there was an incident in Riverside, California. A young lady named Taisha Miller was shot to death by the police while she was sitting in her car. There were 12 bullets that were shot into this young lady while she was apparently still passed out. This incident or this story would probably not have made it out into the world without the help of a business. We're talking about business and diversity. The business that allowed this story to come out into the world was the Black Voice News, a very small weekly newspaper published by Hardy and Cheryl Brown, who decided that until there was justice in this case, they would publish a story on Taisha Miller every single week. Now, understand that newspapers oftentimes depend on ads, and they depend on people supporting the newspaper for survival. And so this decision by these publishers to put this story on the front page every week for what turned out to be multiple years was a big decision for them in looking at who they were, what they represented, and why they existed. So the Taisha Miller story ran in the newspaper, and after a couple of years, one of the publishers requested that I write a play about this incident. And I say requested, and if I did air quotes, I would have put air quotes around requested, but I don't. But this request was made by one of the publishers. Her name is Cheryl Brown. And she requested that I write a play because, as mentioned, I'm a playwright. And she requested this for a couple of years. And after a couple of years, I decided to write a play about the Taisha Miller incident. And the reason I decided to write a play about the Taisha Miller incident is because Cheryl Brown was also my mother-in-law. And for those of you who have mother-in-laws, you know that when they request things, you put quotation marks around the request. If you want to say married. And I've been married for 26 years, so the request and the play actually work. So about 3 years after the incident, I wrote a play called Dreamscape. Dreamscape is the story of a 19-year-old young African-American girl who is shot to death by the police while sitting in her car. The play is a hip-hop theater piece that takes place in 12 scenes. Each scene represents one of the bullets that hit her, and it manifests itself in 3 ways: how that bullet affected her body, what she might have been thinking at that moment, and whether or not it was a fatal or non-fatal shot. So I took this play, Dreamscape, and when I wrote Dreamscape, it wasn't that play that you write, those of you who are playwrights or writers, you know you write the thing that you think is going to be the thing that blows up. That wasn't Dreamscape for me. I wrote Dreamscape because I felt that it was something that I had to do as an artist. And I was reluctant for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't know if I had the ability to tell the story the way the story deserved to be told. And number 2, I didn't want to capitalize on the destruction of another black body. So I wrote Dreamscape, a hip-hop theater piece. I used spoken word, beatboxing, and hip-hop movement to tell the story. The play went on to be published in several anthologies. We've toured Dreamscape throughout the U.S. As mentioned, we've done it overseas. It's been translated into 5 different languages: English, Polish, Hungarian, Romanian. There's another. Whenever I say numbers, I always mess up some number, and somebody in the audience is going, he only said 4. There should be 1 more. So there'll be another one. Ask me later. So the reason why I thought it was important to tell this story goes back to this idea of who we are as human beings and how we actually decide and how we actually live and function. So we do Dreamscape as a play, and I toured for a while, and then we decided to take Dreamscape and turn it into a movie. Once again, taking this story and making it available to more folks. So about 2.5 years ago, we took Dreamscape and we turned it into a film called My Name Is Isha. Once again, taking the story and pushing it a little further. So My Name Is Isha, we took it, I co-wrote the screenplay, I served as a producer, and we made this very small budgeted film, minuscule budget by Hollywood standards. And what happened after making this movie is we filmed it out in the Inland Empire. We actually filmed in one or two of the locations where the play actually takes place. So throughout her journey, she does different things. One example is when she gets shot in the jaw, when it shatters her teeth, the thought that comes to her is, wow, I'm going to really miss Graham's Mission Barbecue over on Main Street. So she goes into how much she enjoyed barbecue, and also the irony that every barbecue spot you go to, they always have thin white bread on the top. And so there are all of these moments that go through her mind as she is being shot to death. We did My Name is Isha as a film. And as a result of that, I had community members coming to me who had participated in the film saying, Curb, what's next? That's how I speak about myself when I'm speaking. Never mind. So they kept asking me what's next. And so what I realized is that it was incumbent on me to create a space to create more opportunities for more stories to be told. Because the question that I was being asked wasn't what's next, but am I going to have an opportunity to tell my stories? Am I going to have a chance to put down on film or on paper the reason why I exist? So I've been reading a lot lately about us as human beings and trying to find some center in the space that we are in currently in the country. And the more I read about history and the more I look at things that have happened in the past, the more I realize that the interconnectedness that we have as human beings doesn't happen with statistics. It doesn't happen with facts. It actually happens with the stories that we tell each other. And those are the things that connect us, whether it's a religion, whether it's a community. You know, this sister was speaking exactly some of the things that I feel. My name is Rickerby Hinds. I'm originally from Honduras. I speak Spanish, but in my country, most people don't look like me. So this dichotomy of who we are as these labels we put on each other becomes very interesting when we try to connect and survive as human beings. So we go back to the beginning and understand that until we are able to tell our stories, the hunter will always define who we are. Thank you.